Welcome to People Doing Good for Others. Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we praise and celebrate and honor and hold in the light those wonderful individuals who are truly making significant contributions in our communities. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, and let's thank Wilkes Communications, RiverStreet Productions, and 100.9 WIFM for this opportunity. My featured guest today is Ms. Betty Jo B.J. Burcham. She's a tremendous advocate in our Wilkes community. She's a graduate of Wilkes Central High School, Wilkes Community College, and served 4 presidents of the community college. And this is going to be a wonderful day. As Gordon Burns said, that how resourceful that Ms. B.J. Burcham is, and we're glad she's here. So good morning, my friend.
Thank you, Gary.
What
Thank
an
you for
honor to
having
have
me.
you. And the idea came to me that you'd just be a great contributor to our series here, and I'm glad you're here. So
Thank you.
tell me a little bit about growing up and your mom and dad and Moravian Falls and some of those things.
Okay. I grew up in a small community, Moravian Falls on Brocktown Road, and our entertainment was playing kick the can, hide and seek, playing in the creek, or playing softball in the road, which we don't encourage children to do that today.
Sure.
But we just had an awesome childhood. And one lady referred to us as the Little Rascals of Brocktown.
Okay.
And I had wonderful parents. I was fortunate to be raised in a Christian home. And my dad, he was a deacon, he sung in the choir, and he was Sunday school superintendent. And we lost him at age 58, so young, with a massive heart attack. But he left us a spiritual legacy that I'm so proud of today.
Spiritual legacy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom, she was a stay-home mom, and she was always there for us. And she loaded our 54 Chevrolet up and took all the kids in the neighborhood to Vacation Bible School or anywhere we needed to go.
Wow.
And she later became a teacher's aide at Moravian Falls Elementary School. And today she's 96 years old.
Is she?
Yes, she goes to the Y 4 days a week. She does water aerobics 4 days, and on Monday, Wednesday, she does silver sneakers. And not only is she an inspiration to me, but all the ladies at the Y want to grow up to be.
What's her name?
Agnes Johnson.
Agnes Johnson.
Yeah, and my father's name was Mark Johnson.
Okay.
And everybody wants to grow up to be just like Agnes.
I bet.
Yeah.
B.J. Burcham, tell us about meeting Sam.
Okay. Met
Your
Sam,
husband.
Yeah. I met Sam at, it was an A-frame pizza parlor that's right up on 268 here. He came driving in, or he wasn't driving, but Karen, one of my friends that I was going to the community college with, she was driving a Volkswagen Beetle, and Sam was sitting on the console, and Karen's friend was on the other side. I don't know how Sam fit in on that console in a Volkswagen Beetle, but he did. And my cousin and I, we were looking for guys, and they invited us to come in and have pizza. So I tried to pay my part, and Sam wouldn't take it, and I said I've been paying for that pizza ever since. But Sam is truly, we've been married 44 years, and he is truly the love of my life and my best friend. And we have a son, John, and he works at Lowe's Companies, and I have a beautiful daughter-in-law, Melinda, who works at Food Line corporate offices in Salisbury. Okay. And a beautiful little granddaughter, Brooke, who will be 6 in June.
And she's with you this week.
She's with us this week. Yeah. We've had a lot of fun. We've traveled to Boone and went swimming at the Y and fed the horses, and we've went to Roberts,
Yeah.
or
Make
Oakwood's
sure we
Grocery.
talk about
Yeah.
Sam's involvement in Boy Scouts.
Okay. Sam actually has been involved with Boy Scouts for a little over 40 years. He had an older brother, Jeff, who was in Scouts, and he actually went to Scouts when Jeff went before he reached the age that you have to be. And now he serves on, he's chair of the committee to raise funds for the Cool Springs Boy Scout troop.
Yep.
And
When you say Cool Springs, is that Cool Springs Baptist Church?
well, they were a sponsor for that
Okay,
in that area. But they have a unique scout hut. You go down a road and it's isolated in the woods, and it just looks like what a scout hut should be. And
Sam's an Eagle Scout?
Sam's an Eagle Scout, and our son followed suit. He's an
Right.
Eagle Scout also, so
Wow.
I'm so proud of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go to Wilkes Central High School
okay.
and tell us about that experience.
Okay, Wilkes Central was a good experience for me, and I was in Future Business Leaders of America there, and just had wonderful instructors that prepared the way for me to go to the community college. And I did have an instructor there, Roy Furr, who was my accounting instructor, and he didn't let anybody go out of his class without knowing what a debit and a credit was, and all the aspects of accounting. So when I got to the community college, I was well prepared for accounting. Yeah.
BJ Burcham, let's talk now about a door open for you when you were to college that led to these great years of service to the college. Just a little bit about someone recognized the special talent that you had that got you going.
Okay. Well, one day, Karen, she was taking class with me and worked in the business office. And she said Dr. Shaw wanted to see me in the business office. So I went up to talk with him. And they had a Title III position that had come available for keeping books for 8 different community colleges that got that special funding. And I found out Jean Tugman had recommended me for that position, and Jean was such an inspiration to me at the college.
He was a teacher at the college?
Yeah, she was a teacher at the college, and she actually was my personal improvement teacher, and I had long hair down to my waist when I was at the community college, and she wanted us to look professional in our role.
Oh my
And she
goodness.
wanted us to cut our hair, so I cut my hair, and I've had short hair ever since. We can attribute that to Jean Tugman.
Okay, so for that year in that particular area, and then this serving the president started, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I worked in the Office of Planning and Development for Dr. Bill Richardson, and he was a great leader at the college and one of the first administrators. He said he always got them trained, and then they took his secretaries to different parts of the college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still I keep up with him. He's in Florida, and then Dr. Thompson's assistant left, Brenda Purdue, and she went to Abitibi, at that time is what it was called, and worked for Clark Hertzler. So Dr. Thompson asked me if I would come in and be his assistant in the president's office. And Dr. Thompson, he was just a wonderful, wonderful president. He was our founding president, and just to get to work for him, he was just such a special man. And everybody had respect for him, and he had a keen mind, and he could even remember all of his students that he had at Wilkes Central when he was president. He actually came to us from Albany, New York, and he was a coach up there, and he came to be the principal at Wilkes Central High School, and then later went to be superintendent of schools in Chapel Hill, and they selected him to be our founding president at the college. And he worked with J. Height Hammond, an architectural firm out of Ashboro, to design the buildings, and they show no age, I don't think.
They don't?
No, and yeah, I attribute
quite
him and his leadership in coming up with that
Then
design.
David Daniels.
Yeah.
Daniels or Daniel? Daniel.
He
Tell us
came from
about him.
Isothermal Community College, and he was the vice president for instruction there. And he was another great leader. He followed Howard Thompson, and he reactivated our WCC Endowment Corporation, which I think they refer to it today as the foundation.
All right.
And one of his major projects was doing a step project that connected the lower and upper campuses. And if you take a hike up those steps, you can tell whether you're physically fit or not.
And the Johnnie Walker Center?
Yes,
he
that
was
was
responsible for getting that built?
Yes, that was constructed during his leadership, and it's a wonderful conference and cultural center for our area, and they bring in wonderful season shows, and the Oak Ridge Boys is our next one coming up in May.
Really?
Yeah, so we always attend those and enjoy that.
And he did some outreach in Allegheny and Ashe counties?
Then
right?
courses were started in Ashe and Allegheny counties, which is just wonderful that we have the 3-county service area.
Yeah.
And he was just a great leader. And
Okay.
yeah.
Who was next?
Okay, next we had Ed Bean came in from Caldwell Community College, and he was the founding president there, and he was just on board as the interim until we got our next president, which was Dr. Jim Randolph, and he had come as the executive director of the Wyoming Community College system, and he brought a wealth of knowledge also to the college. And he had a management style where he involved the faculty senate, the staff council, and the administrative council in the decision-making process.
Now, tell us about Merle Fest. We kind of...
Yeah, Merle Fest is...
Back up and get that with David Daniel.
Okay. I remember vividly Bill Young, who was a banker, and Ella Sue White, she was on a garden committee at the college, and Doc Watson, you know, coming in, and they were working with B. Towns, who was the grandfather of Merle Fest.
Came in your office?
Came into my office.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So I was right there when it was all talked about and started.
So the first time Merle Fest was Doc Watson in your office?
He was in my office talking about that, and he had had a son who was killed in a tractor accident.
Right.
And they wanted to involve and do some of the naming for him.
And so that's how you
Right.
mentioned B. Towns. So you want to elaborate on him a little bit?
Yeah, B actually taught horticulture at the college. He didn't really know a lot about music at the time he was heading all this up, but you talk with him today, he is so knowledgeable and a scholar when it comes to bluegrass, traditional music. Yeah, he was
So they had gardens. Is that had something to do with that they were going to raise money to do some gardens to honor the Merle Watson? Is that right?
Eddie Merle Watson.
Yeah.
And they have a garden for the senses, and everything's in Braille, and it's real fragrant, the plants are. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it's just paramounted. And we'll have over 80,000 people coming into the county this week, and just the impact that it's made. I looked at some statistics from 2017, and it was a $13 million economic impact for the surrounding counties. Appalachian State did an economic study, and just here in Wilkes alone was 7 million.
And Swanson Richards, Dr. Swanson Richards came for a while, right?
Right, yeah.
Was the interim?
He was the interim between Dr. Randolph, and I did want to mention Dr. Randolph, his wife, when he moved to Nevada, she came back to make this her home. So I thought that was quite a tribute to Wilkes County. And she has a special needs son, Adam, and he works at ADAP every day. And his job is crushing cans.
Really?
And he can't talk, but when you see his enthusiasm and the look in his eyes, there's no need for conversation at all. He just has a love for everyone. And then she has a son, Chad, who married a local girl here, and he lives in Davidson now.
BJ, tell me about this. We talked about 4 presidents and Swanson Richards and others. A little bit about the first day when someone's coming in and you're learning each other, and how do you to go from one to another and learn how to pick it up like that?
Right. I guess Doc Thompson, I had gotten to know him when I worked in planning and development, and everybody loved him at the college. And so when I went in there, my dad told me everybody puts on their pants the same way, one leg at a time. And so I just took that as advice that, everybody's equal from the top to the bottom.
So the confidence and the courage, you just learn to do it.
Learn to do it, because really, if you can believe it, I was a shy little girl who wouldn't even talk when I was growing up. And I was probably on the shy side when I took that position.
Wow.
But over the years, they say I'm making up for lost time.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Now, Gordon Burns, I ran into at 1915 last week, right, when I mentioned that we were going to be together today.
Uh-huh.
And he spoke of how resourceful, that your experience was just amazing, to how much it helped him become the president that he became because of your help. And so that resourceful, I thought, was a great word, that you had been able to pull things together from a lot of directions and could tell him, at any point in time, where's this, where's that, how do we get this, how do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, Gordon, he came to the college, a wonderful leader. He came from Lenore Community College, and he was the vice president for instruction there. So he actually knew a lot about the college. But it was neat that I did have all that history that I could share with him. And one neat story, taking it to the current president, Jeff Cox, his wife, Reba, was my work study student, and we kept minutes in legal books, and they had no table of contents. We didn't have computers at the time, so she actually did a table of contents for all the minute books, the action that was taken. And I thought how neat that she was doing that job. She probably hadn't even met Dr. Cox at the time, but she was probably preparing some help for him for his future role as president.
And you worked with graduation groups too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was really a highlight for me each year, to see those students reach their achievement and cross that stage to receive their diploma. And that was the highlight of the year. Preparing, working with them and getting them in their caps and gowns and lined up and everything. And I still remember one of the songs they sung to the graduates. It was Go Light Your World. And I just thought that was wonderful. But I want to get back to Gordon Burns. He was a wonderful administrator, and he came to the college, and we had Vision 2010. And it pulled all of our people together, our faculty senate, our staff council, and we worked on a vision for the college, and everybody got real excited about that and where we were going to go for the future. And when I started to work, Gary, I worked on an IBM Selectric typewriter that was proportionate spacing, and if you made an error, there was hardly no way to correct it. So then we had a fundraising campaign that was called Net 98, and it brought fiber optic into the college, and
Dr. Burns did that?
Yeah.
His leadership.
Yeah. And we all had a computer on our desk, and it took the stress of that Selectric typewriter away, and it was just wonderful, growing and getting into the computer age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, he is, you said he's mowing the grass at the art gallery?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, if you will.
Yeah. He retired, and I see him swimming at the Y, and he mentioned that he volunteers at the art gallery mowing the grass, and he's an avid hunter, and he just did get through with an interim presidency at Vance Greville Community College. He likes to stay busy, and he's just like you, Gary. He likes photography.
Yeah, he's
so at Merle Fest,
tremendous advocate. Like Rotary, he kind of captures Rotary. They'll have history of his camera and folks who visited the meetings.
Right, so he loves
Wow.
that, and you'll see him at Merle Fest if you're there behind that camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
You said there's 4,000 volunteers at Merle Fest.
Right.
Tell us about all those years that you were in the president's office. That was a significant moment each year about Merle Fest coming, and I talked to Ted Hageman the other day to just kind of pat him on the back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about Merle Fest a little bit more, if you will.
Okay. Merle Fest opens an opportunity for a lot of civic organizations and also student organizations at the college. They take certain roles, and then they're given a certain dollar amount. And three things that come to mind. Well, Sam has the Boy Scout troop, and he manages the Brown Lot, where the artists come in, and they sort of, keep people from the backstage area. So they're given a dollar amount to do that service for the college. And
Right.
when he got...
So the nonprofits all around the region are just the great beneficiaries of Merle Fest.
Right.
As they are vendors for things.
Right, food
Right.
vendors,
Right.
right. And one thing, I play in the handbell choir at my church, and we do lost and found and overnight storage. And then we're given a dollar amount, and we were able to buy a trailer for our handbells, through monies that we had made at Merle Fest, and buy new handbells. And then my brother-in-law, actually, he scoutmaster at the Methodist Church in North Wilkesboro, and they do the shuttle service, bringing the guest into Merle Fest. And you haven't lived until you've rode that Boy Scout shuttle bus into
Really?
Merle Fest. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a great thing too. That's helped him with his Boy Scout troop also.
And so when did you retire?
I retired in June 1, 2008. I've been retired for 11 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about what you're doing
Okay.
in your life. Lots of doing good, I'm sure. Just tell us about it.
Okay. I wanted a routine. I thought, I've worked for 35 years, and I'm one of those people that likes to get up and about in the morning. So we started going to the Y every morning, or 4 days a week, and doing the water aerobic class that I talked about earlier with
Okay.
my mom.
Yeah.
And then also I do a Bible study class in Hickory called Bible Study Fellowship. And we're
You go there every week?
every Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's kind of on a school schedule, so we're getting ready to come to an end, but we've been studying the people of the Old Testament, and been quite an experience through that.
Your church, Cub Creek.
My church, Cub Creek, the most wonderful thing is the Good News Club at Cub. We sponsor Moravian Falls Elementary School, and we get to go into the school after school. Each child has to have a permission slip to come. And we have a snack, and we get to teach them memory verses. We have a Bible lesson and music and review games. And this year we've had 7 children saved through our Good News Club. And Easter Sunday we baptized 4 of those Good News children.
Wow.
Yeah, and that has just has been my ministry and love of doing that. And as long as we're able to do that, I'm going to be that administrator
Yeah.
for the Good News Club.
How long have you been at Cub Creek?
Actually, we lived in Statesville for 6 years, so other than those 6 years in Statesville, I've been there all my life. I really consider, that I've been there practically all my life.
So you're kind of a birthright member.
Yeah, birthright member. I guess that would, I tell my age if I tell you, being subtracting 6 years from it, but it's been a wonderful church, and I taught Sunday school there for a lot of years. They came one Sunday and asked me, my son was in the 4th and 5th grade, and the teacher wasn't there that Sunday, and they asked me if, or came to our Sunday school class and asked for a volunteer. And then I was there for over 20 years teaching the 4th and 5th grade class. I actually taught 2 generations of students there.
Now, what ages did you have?
4th grade and 5th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you have a like a manual, you follow some schedule about teaching, or do you do your own classes?
Well, we use the Lifeway literature.
Lifeway.
Lifeway. And
okay.
I'm not teaching Sunday school presently, but I do chair our homecoming committee and try to get all of our history and accomplishments each year in that, and photographs, and I like photography pretty good too.
Oh, yeah.
My nickname is Kodak Betty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you brought me a wonderful book about Robert and Sue Rosati.
Oh, yes.
How's that, you said you're a significant customer of that manual. How does that work? You take pictures, and how you do that?
Yeah, you take pictures and then you download it into Shutterfly.
Shutterfly.
And then you pick your template that you want to. They've got lots of different ideas, and you just drag and drop the photographs into the book. And
okay.
And Robert and Sue, I just love doing one for them. They do so much for the community, and we just love them dearly.
Yeah.
And Robert's trying to retire, but he's still there.
Oakwood's grocery is one of the most unique places in the whole wide world.
It sure is. It really is. My husband retired from Lowe's Companies, and he starts his day there each morning at Oakwood's
the
Grocery.
spiritual lift of Oakwood Grocery kind of fits all the things you've been doing in your life.
Right, it really does. And Robert's just an outstanding young man. And
I want you to go back to your mom and dad and talk about that influence of getting started on the right road.
Right.
And staying, you mentioned the hard ways and easy ways, and just go back to how fortunate it is to have had a mom and daddy that right and wrong was important.
Right. Well, first and foremost, God, the Lord, was number one, in our life. They were emphasizing that, and just going to church every Sunday, and just trying to be a good person. We actually had a minister that visited our church recently, and he talked about you should get out early in the morning, and you should give someone a smile, and you should do a good deed for someone. And
a good deed and a smile.
And that's one of your sayings too, I think, Gary. And I took that message, and at the Y, we're in Silver Sneakers, and we have a lot of elderly people in there. So if one was coming late, I thought, well, I'm going to run, get their chair and get their equipment for them and set it up for them. So just trying to make a difference in people's lives. They instilled that in me as a young girl, and my grandmother lived with me, and she loved me and spoilt me rotten. And I visited a lot of elderly people with her, and I just have a dear love for elderly people. So if we have a chance, we like to go to the nursing homes and visit people. Little Grace Johnson was a lady in our church, and she's now at Wilkes Senior Village. But she knows more about my childhood when I visit her than I can remember myself.
I want to thank Wilkes Communications and RiverStreet and WIFM for this opportunity, and what a wealth of goodness you bring us today. The spiritual lift that I've received this morning is just beyond compare, and I'll be forever grateful. So kind of sign off, if you have a book here.
I wanted to give you a book, Gary. A young boy that was in our church, Larry Bogus, he was a major in the Army, and he was at a peace meeting in Pakistan, and he was killed. He worked for Sam, my husband, when he had Sam's Country Market. Well, his widow has authored this book, God, Country, Golf, Reflections of an Army Widow. And in there she had a quote, "You can choose the easy wrong, or you can choose the hard right." And I took that to heart. And thinking about the Good News Club, I could have actually said, I don't have time for that. But with my organization skills and everything, I felt like God called me to do that. And I just think all those children that were baptized, if I had made the wrong decision, that might not have occurred today. And I just wanted to present you this, she's autographed the book, and I just wanted to give you that. And I thought you would enjoy reading that.
And Betty Jo Burcham and your family, Sam, your granddaughter and son, what an honor to have you here today. And if you want to close with a couple of sentences, it'd be a good time for that.
Okay. I just wanted to thank you, Gary, because I know you've helped Sam with his Boy Scout fundraisers. You're always there for him. And I've just counted an honor to know you and to hear all the things that you have done for people. And I think I could end that saying, job well done.
Thank you. And remember that there's that of God in all of us. And,
that's right.
You bring such a spirit to us today, and I hope you'll do this again soon.
Okay, and be assured Sam has you on his radio station all the time. We listen to you. Betty Jo Burcham and your life, thank you for being with us today, and promise to be with us the next time. And I'm Gary York. This is People Doing Good for Others. God bless you for this opportunity, and please carry the message for us. Thank you.